Welcome to Backyard Bows. Hey, welcome to Backyard Bows. I'm Brandon, and today we have the Z1S by Hoyt, which is their speed bow for 23. I think the last speed bow we did by Hoyt was the RX4 Turbo, which was one of the first bows that we did in this review process. So I'm excited to get another speed bow in here. I love speed bows, even though I don't necessarily put them in the field a ton. I do love testing and reviewing them, running them through the chronograph. That's always something that's been intriguing to me. So we'll talk about speed a little here in a second, my perspective on it, some of the feedback I've got from you, the viewers, and then also other hunters, and kind of maybe clarification on some of the things that I've stated in the past reviews, which people have had questions about. So the Z1S, this is pretty much the Venom Pro on steroids. So I'm pretty sure it's the same riser as the Venom Pro. It has an entire new engine, which is the S-type cam and mods, which we'll also talk about in a second. And then all of the other features on the bow are the exact same as some of the bows that we've seen in the past couple years. So let's go right to the specs. You have a 33-inch axle, which I do like because when we're talking about speed, you're gonna have to sacrifice here a little bit, but I like that longer platform to kind of give a little bit of stability at full draw. It comes out of the box about 5 pounds. You have a 5 and 8-inch brace height, and you go from 25 to 30. So for the longer draw guys, it's not gonna accommodate you, but we all know, like the longer draw guys, you really aren't sacrificing much in speed on any bow. So if you can get out to your draw lengths, you're usually getting the best speeds of anybody anyway. And then you have a 40 to 70 pound option. I was surprised that they didn't have an 80 pound draw weight option. They threw a 65 in there, but I was expecting them to have an 85 pound draw weight option. So first thing I noticed on this bow to me is the camo. You got the Origin Raptor camo. Once I got out of the box, it was so much sleeker than I thought it was gonna be. The detail on this is incredible. The finish, this thing is awesome. I actually love both of their camos that they have, but this is just, it's so unique style of camo, and it just popped on this bow. So I love that. I got the red strings to go with it. I think this thing is as sleek as you can get. So let's go right into all the other features. We'll just mentioned everything because we've talked about them before. We got the short stop stabilizer on the bottom, which is one of my favorite features on these bows from Hoyt. You can mix match. You can put your stabilizer below, the short stop stabilizer above. You can use just the short stop stabilizer. I love that. Every single one feels a little bit different, so you can kind of vary the feel of the bow, which we all are so different, and everything feels so different to each of us. I love that you can kind of customize those stabilizers, and I kind of messed around with all of them, and this is how I'm going to shoot it today for the Freestyle Shoot. They're dampeners. You got one on top, one on bottom. You got the ones between the limbs. I love those. We'll kind of see the vibration of this bow. All the speed bows are a little bit different, and you kind of have to sacrifice some, which we've always talked about. So bumping up the speed, you're going to sacrifice the vibration, the shock in your hand, the draw cycle, the stability. It's funny to me because they're always advertised, hey, we're bumping up the speeds, but it's easy on your shoulder, and we still kept a smooth draw cycle, which to me, it's like, man, that's not what I would be advertising. What makes sense to me is like, hey, we bumped up the speeds, but we sacrificed as little as possible at the stability and full draw. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm anticipating the draw cycle to be a little bit harsh. I mean, that's just common sense, especially when you look at these new S-type cams. I mean, they just look aggressive, but we'll see how much. But what I'm really gonna look for outside is the stability and how much that is sacrificed. But you have the same riser. I love these risers. As solid as you can get. We've always talked about Hoyt. It's out of the 3 categories that we review, it's the investment category. You're gonna get what you're paying for. It's almost a guarantee. It is a guarantee. Hoyt just does it right. I mean, with everything, with quality, it's incredible. So you're gonna make your investment, but you're gonna get your money's worth. And I think that is definitely with these aluminum risers, some of the best in the business. Same with the limb pockets. The grip is my favorite to date still. That Vital Point grip to me just feels the best of all of the grips. You have your option for your 2-piece or 1-piece quivers. I love the quivers that they have online. I think all the accessories that are made for Hoyt are just incredible too. So we could do reviews on all of those as well, but I think the time that they put into the accessories for their own bows, I feel like they're just meant to be. But I love that their quivers that they have. You have the bottom back bar stabilizer here. It mounts onto the side instead of the back. And then you have the cable guard, which is, again, this is one of my favorite as well. It's tucked in nice and tight. It's as solid as you can get, just like with everything else on the bow. String stop. And then you go to the cams and mods. So these are new. So new S-type cams, new mods to go with these S-type cams. The HBX mods won't go on these. And then you have their signature, kind of what they've transitioned to is these 2 mods per cam, which kind of break up that draw length and kind of give you more efficiency and performance at all the draw weights instead of having everything on one mod. I like that too. It just kind of, it's not as efficient as the switch weight technology from Matthews, where you're kind of getting it at every draw length and draw weight, but it does break it in half to kind of stretch it over 2 mods instead of 1. I'm super excited to shoot this thing. I don't think I've had a speed bow in here since the Omen. And let's just talk about speed a little bit. So for me, you've heard in my videos, I've always said comfort over speed. And I still stand by that. In the positions and the style of hunting that I do, I like an effortless draw. I like a really nice, effortless, stable hold, you know. And for me, what has gotten the job done time and time again is a well-placed shot. So shot IQ, the angle of the animal, knowing the anatomy, all of those factor into the success of your hunt, to me, over the speed. I'm not wanting a bow that I can just think, I feel like some of these guys are like, I'm just gonna punch through. I don't care what angle the animal's at. I'm just gonna blow through it because I'm shooting this bow with these such high speeds. Again, I think shot placement, patience, all of that factors in so much more than how much speed your bow's gonna get. So I feel like there's two guys, after interacting with a ton of you and then just my own experiences, I feel like the first guy is like, hey, why not? I am healthy and I am able and capable of pulling back speeds, which are getting these high speeds and this kinetic energy. So why not? Why would I not factor that into my hunt? And then you have a guy who's like, hey, I'm gonna set up a whole new bow for hunting this different game, you know, going into water buffalo, boar, something where they're like, I feel like I need a little bit more. So I'm gonna set something up for this style of hunt, but normally would shoot with something a little bit less. So I feel like it's like, they're picking up the speed bow when they need it, but they don't just use it all the time. And then the other guy's just like, I'm gonna get as much speed as I can just because I can. So, and then you got the companies who are advertising each one. Obviously they want to pick up the speeds and they want to sacrifice as little as possible. It's funny to me that they always advertise for the draw cycle. I wish they would advertise, hey, we bumped up these speeds and we didn't sacrifice on the hold or the stability. I feel like that's that would catch my eye. But again, they all advertise the same. Some do a better job than others. Just from shooting the Venom Pro, the VTM, I think this one's gonna be one of the nicer speed bows that we've had in here. So let's go ahead, we'll fling a couple. So definitely stiffer, which you anticipate when picking up a speed bow, but it's fairly linear, which I was expecting by the shape of this cam. Now I have it at 80. I shot it at 85 and it had a little bit more of a dump on the tail end. But at 80 it smoothed out a little bit, but I had a feeling it would be a little bit stiffer towards the end. It does pick up a hair, but not nearly as much. That's nice. Yeah, just a little bit. And from those 2 shots, I feel like the stability is going to be equal to the VTM, which I love these platforms. I think they set up really, really nice. I like that they went with the 33-inch axle to axle with this one, just to kind of help that stability at full draw. So if you're looking back, to give you a little perspective, you got the Venom Pro 33, which came in at 276. You got the RX7, which came in at 285. And then you got the VTM, which came in at 295. So you're gonna pay a couple $100 for almost the exact same bow as the VTM for how much speed? And that's what we're gonna figure out here in a second, is what are you paying for? Because these are maybe a couple $100 more than the VTM. So we'll see here in a second. But $295 for the VTM 31, I mean, with my 500 grain arrow, 30 inches on the draw, 70 pounds, 85% left, that is just like, that's a perfect speed. That's incredible to me. So this one better be 15 pounds-feet per second greater for me to want to spend that $200, because the draw cycle is fine. It's a little stiffer, but I did my shoulders yesterday, worked out, and that wasn't anything that would be a negative to me. I like the draw cycle. I feel like the hold is gonna play out outside, but I feel like it's good. But the draw cycle is nice. So, it's a tough pull, but it's nice and linear. It's not too much of a drop at the end. The stability is nice though for a speed bow. I like this platform. This is a nice bow. All right, let's get outside. Let's get outside. We'll sling a whole bunch of arrows and we'll see how good the stability really is. All right, I lied. I can't wait. We are going to do our speed test before we go outside and do the freestyle shoot. So that's kind of why I bought the bow. And now I want to see. I haven't ran it through here before, so these would be the first shots. We'll do all 3 arrows like we've been doing. We have 70 pounds, 85% let off, 30-inch draw. The first arrow we'll do, which we'll use for the grading part, is going to be the 500 grain, 300 spine full metal jacket. We'll see. We'll see what it gets here. $297. Okay, so I just had mentioned that the VTM got $295. Okay, and we'll shoot this a couple times. $297. So right off of the bat, this is premature, but if you are paying extra for the same bow for 2 feet per second, that's not, I mean, that's not even close to being worth it for me, but that's $299. So the other thing with these speed bows is as we drop down that arrow weight, I want to go back and look at what the VTM got with that 440 grain arrow and see how significantly different those are. Because sometimes these speed bows are a little bit stronger, I call them, you know, a little bit, have a little bit more strength. And as you drop down the arrow weight, they don't drop as much. So that's 300. So we are going to shoot it, because if I give this will be one of the first bows that we've given that 10 out of 10 in this new grading system. So we're gonna give it that fair run with 5 shots. So we're gonna shoot it, and if it'll stay at 300 or above, that's 296. So we're gonna give it the 9 out of 10, which is awesome. Okay, so that's still very, very good. It's not nearly as fast as I was thinking it was gonna be. And again, that's why we like to do these, is because the VTM, for a little bit less expensive, the VTM 31 is what I would go with. I don't, unless this thing is a lot more stable, but the VTM 31 was a very stable platform for 31 inches. So now we got a 550 grain arrow. That's 278. So that dropped down significantly. But still, this is, I mean, this is an incredible speed. 280 is what I'm looking for. So we're right at 280 with a 550 grain arrow, a deer at 20 yards. I mean, you're gonna punch through almost anything with a fixed broadhead on there. That's a duplicate. So now we have our 440 grain, 400 spine full metal jacket. This should be well over 300. That's 310. So again, awesome speeds. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. You're not sacrificing too much though. I mean, it's a good pull. I can even just tell from the initial shots, running it through the chronograph, you can tell that it's gonna wear on me a little bit throughout the day. So is that wear and tear on your body worth the very small increase in feet per second? To me, it's an automatic no, it's not worth it. But then again, if this is comfortable to you, you're consistent with this, you like the speeds of this bow, are you getting the quality and what it's, you know, you getting a great quality bow that's producing some amazing speeds? Yes. I mean, you can't beat it. All right, sound test. We've got the graph here on the phone, visual up here, which we'll use for the end grade. For speed bow, I'm assuming it's gonna be above 90. I don't know where it's gonna land. Somewhere on the louder end though. So it's a 92.2, not as loud as we've seen with some, but it is up there. Some of the quieter ones down about 87, louder ones up by 94. So, but then again, with the speed that this is getting, I think the sound factors in less. That was 91.7. It's kind of a give and take. Now, how much? I don't know. I know some people really go into depth about this. I'm just going to go ahead and say, not a scientific analysis by any means, but I'm going to go ahead and say the speeds that this is getting, if it's a hair louder, I'm going to say it's not going to factor in. I would not think, especially 50 and under, 50 yards and under. That's a 93. So again, right on there on the louder end of what we've seen. 94 was maybe the highest, 87 was maybe the lowest. But that to me was something I assumed. So let's go outside. Finally, we'll go get some shots in. All right, so on to the freestyle shoot. We'll shoot some here from the deck, elevated up, shooting down. We got bucks, boars. We'll go to the gazebo. We'll shoot some from over there too. We'll shoot a lot. I have a feeling this one's gonna wear me out a little bit, so we'll shoot as much as we can. It's nice and hot too. So we'll go boar at 30. This thing is humming. I would say 33-inch axle to axle Z1S compared to the VTM 31-inch axle to axle. I think they're very similar in the hold. So even though they're different, they kind of balance each other out. You got the speed for the shorter axle to axle. It kind of all evens out to a very similar full draw. So now we'll go bucks at 35. Oh, I think a fletching came off of that one. You kind of hear it. Maybe it was torn. But this thing is humming. I mean, so here's going to be my assessment. I'm going to do it prematurely. This is marketing. It's the same bow. They have all the same pieces. They already had all these pieces, the exact same everything. They made a new cam. Okay. I feel like that's not that much invested in it, especially for the price. So same everything, dampeners, riser from the Venom Pro, which I'm pretty sure it is, limbs, limb pockets, everything. This is advertised for the guys who just love speed. You know, it's like they just want the muscle car. You know what I mean? It's like there's something about speed to them. They want to pull a bow that feels like they're pulling back something hard. But in all reality, the price points on these should be the exact same. You're getting the same quality, same setup. It's just a speed bow. It should not be the price that it is, in my opinion. You're not getting really that much more of anything, as you just saw inside, because we did the speed test before. You're not even getting that much more speed. So this is simply an advertising market bow right here for you guys out there who just love speed. You know, so are you getting the quality? Yeah, of course, and you're getting some amazing speeds, but is it worth the markup? I'm not so sure about that point. So let's go ahead, look, we'll go to the gazebo, we'll shoot some more, see how it fares out at longer ranges. All right, so now we're gonna just climb this 3D ladder we have over here. All kinds of 3D targets leading all the way up to 50. So we'll start here at the turkey at 20. Each target is a 5-yard increment, and we'll just walk our way all the way up. I need to trim everything up just a little bit. So I think the stability on this is great, and especially for one shot. So if you're hunting and you plan on shooting that one shot, maybe two, but you know, you have that one kill shot, the stability is good. So as I shoot this throughout the day, I guarantee by the end of the day, it's gonna, my view on the stability of the bow will be different because I will have tired and gassed. But I think for just like a single shot, the stability on this is really nice. All of the bows from the Venom Pro to the RX-7, which I loved, all of them seem to be just rock solid at full draw. This is not much different. Again, I think this bow all around, for the feel, everything, it's not a ton different. But then again, you're also not getting a ton different speed, so that makes sense. So let's go Coyote, 25. But for shootability, I mean, even the draw cycle, it's stiff, but it's not bad. It's not anything that like I'm gonna complain about. at all. I mean, if you closed your eyes, you could tell it was a speed bow, but man, it's so similar to that VTM 31 that you might not be able to tell the difference. And we'll go to that coyote, or the wolf, which is at 35, and then we'll get over. So the full draw stall is where I feel like I might see a little bit of instability. A minute is going to be tough, I feel like, but that's why we like that test. I mean, this thing is, it's a hammer for sure. I feel like all the Hoyt bows lately have just been little sludge hammers. I love to shoot them. I love to hunt with them. I love the camo options they have. Everything about Hoyt lately, all the new cams and mods, and they've just been on the top of my list. So now we'll go 40-yard mama black bear, and then we'll do the full draw stall. So we'll do our full draw stall. We got a 60-second hold and then a well-placed shot on the little black bear. And I'm not going to wait. I'm a little gassed already from shooting this thing as much as we have. But I think that's realistic. So you go to climb on a mountainside. You got your one shot opportunity. It's not going to wait on you. So we're going to go ahead and try to put one good shot on the little black bear we call Paddington. So not as bad as I thought, but as time progressed, you can definitely see those pins start moving around a little bit more. I had to be more conscious of my backhand. It did want to start jumping on me a little bit, but typical speed bow. So now onto the elk, 50-yard shots. I trimmed it up. We got a nice little silhouette of an elk. This is my favorite shot. I think I said this with the Omen, but I think this thing is it's like a pig sticker. You know, it's like 20, 30 yards. This thing is running through anything, okay? You see a little bit of instability after a nice long hold on it like you did on the full draw stall. But if you're shooting this within a reasonable time shot, so you're drawing and releasing within a reasonable amount of time, I don't see any instability in this, like any problems. It only has played an effect, or I've even only slightly felt it the longer I held it. And if I was to shoot it all day, you know, so by the end of the day, I feel like I'm going to shoot. So this isn't like a tack bow. You know, you'd be gassed at the end of a day. But, you know, getting off one shot, I think this thing is an absolute sledgehammer. So let's go elk at 50. So now we'll try to do a quick release one, which is really just kind of me seeing how quickly I can dial these pins down and feel comfortable letting one go. So for me, again, I feel like this is just a marketing play. You know, it's like any sacrifice in the stability is never worth it to me. It doesn't matter for how many feet per second. You have the exact same bow here as the Venom Pro, okay, 33. That bow held so nicely, it drew so nicely, and to get a 276 feet per second with my grain arrow, it's money. You know, for that amount of feet per second that you're getting, to me, there's no way. I wouldn't change that for the world. The Venom Pro 33 I would choose over this 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter what I was hunting. But I mean, even out to 50, pins start to move. 40 was good. So the jump from 40 to 50 is always a big one for me. But let me sit down. We'll think about it and we'll give this a grade. All right, Z1S final grade. I'm going to start by saying this. One, all of the opinions that I give on my reviews, they're just my opinions based on my perspective, my experience in the field, and that's it. And I've always been honest about that. So I'm a whitetail hunter, hunt turkey, whitetail, pigs. I have not yet had the chance and the opportunity to hunt really large game. So if I was going to hunt some larger game, and somebody who with that experience gave me some advice on what setup I should use, arrow weight, poundage, the speeds I should be looking for, I would take it all into consideration and I would listen and ask questions, and like I'm open to somebody advising me that has experience in certain parts of the field. So all of my comments on speed bows are just my personal experience. The feet per second that you were to gain going from the VTM31 to this, to the Z1S, I think they're both equally as devastating. I don't think those minor feet per second that you're gaining are beneficial. You know, I don't think for what you were to sacrifice. I think you definitely sacrificed in the draw cycle the ability to shoot the bow a lot. And that's what you want. So with this bow, my advice would be just that. The more you shot it, the more you repped it out, the more comfortable you'd get, and you would be able to perform well. Well, like, it takes longer when you can't shoot the bow an absolute ton. Fantastic quality, amazing speeds. It performed well. I just, for the price change, it always gets me when they bump up the price change for the speed bow, Hoyt. And they did it with the twin turbo as well, but you're not getting the speeds that I wish I was seeing. So right off the bat, $299. That's one of the fastest bows we've gotten here with my specs, 70 pounds, 30-inch draw, 500 grain arrow. Awesome speed, incredible. Topped out at 300 at one point, but we gave it the 9 out of 10. Quality and durability also gave it a 9 out of 10. I've said it before, aluminum riser bows, Hoyt's is the leader. They do the best quality, and not just one part. Every single part of the bow is the top quality. Something that you can take in the field and be reassured that, man, this thing is just going to perform no matter what you put it through. I gave it a 10 out of 10 for the appeal. The camo, the strings, the setup, all of it. I think it's one of the best looking bows that I've seen. And I usually don't knock things too hard, so we're usually like right at an 8, 9, or 10, but this one to me is just perfection. I love this thing, it's beautiful. And then you go technology, I gave it a 7 out of 10. So this is kind of where I hit everything a little bit hard. You have kind of the 2 changing mods. You know, it's a very simple binary system. It's just the entire bow. Again, we're on the lower part of technology. I do love all the inline features that they've kind of added over the past couple of years. I think that is awesome. But you know, you've heard me say this too, simple is not, you know, sometimes simple is just the way to go. This is just it's a great system. And then moving to the performance, I gave it an 8 out of 10. So I think you definitely lost a little bit with the draw cycle, a little bit tough. The stability at times, farther distances, holding it over time, you definitely saw an increase in instability there. But again, if you're taking this out for that one perfect shot, this thing performs like everything else. But if we had to split hairs and separate bow to bow, I think that's, you know, you got to knock this just a little bit because you are sacrificing. So is it worth the price change, the sacrifice on instability for 5 feet per second? I think that's a no-brainer. I don't even think that's an argument. To me, I would just say absolutely not. But then again, like I mentioned before, I think this bow is it's a marketing bow. Speed bows they're for the guys who love speed. And if you're one of them, you know, and you feel comfortable and consistent with what you're shooting, and it's a speed bow, great. You're getting all the power you can get, and that, you know, just helps in the harvesting and success of your hunt. So more power to you. I think I shoot so much that I like a little bit more comfortable bow, a little bit more effortless bow, but that's just my preference. So again, this is all preference. So 43 times it by 2, you get 86. You get a 1 makeup point for the price. Anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500. I think it's right at the top of that, around 1,500 after taxes. So 1 makeup point. So you get 87 out of 100. Great grade. A little bit about what's to come. We have so much. We keep getting stuff sent to us. And we were kind of in a transition process. So we're just now getting back to giving you guys everything that we have in house, which is an absolute ton. But we do have the X-Lite 31 from Expedition. I cannot wait for that. That's just the bow I've been dying to get my hands on. And then we have the CP30, which is going to wrap up all of the Bowtech bows from 2023. And then we're going to backtrack in time a little bit, and we're going to do an own review on the V3X33, which is the pinnacle for Matthews for me. I think that's just like the best bow they've put out in a long time. So we're going to give it its own review. And then we got a lot more to come. So stay tuned. Hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, leave us a comment. I love interaction. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have so much more to come. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook for updates of anything else that we're gonna review. If there's something that you're interested in, hit those links below and check them out. And make sure, no matter what your setup is, what bow you're shooting, get your reps in on the daily. We'll see you next week.